But is it selfish not to have a vaccination? Well, just watch the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Michael Gove, speaking on this very subject yesterday.
People who can't be vaccinated, I think that certainly mandatory testing is a useful tool in our armoury. But ultimately, if you can be vaccinated and you refuse to, that's a selfish act. You're putting other people's lives and health at risk. You should get vaccinated.
So there we are. It's a selfish act. And when Boris Johnson was pushed on this today, he didn't use the same language. Is Michael Gove going completely and utterly power mad? Or medically, is he right to say what he's saying? Well, there are questions of health. There are equally questions of liberty and choice. Well, joining me now is Dr Renée Hoenderkamp, a writer and a GP. Renée, this is quite strong language, isn't it, from a very senior cabinet minister?
It really is, Nigel, and it's not language that I think is helpful. And I think in the long term, it could actually do more damage than good.
Yeah, I've been wondering about this because it's the younger people who seem to be in larger numbers reluctant to take the vaccine. And the argument that I've heard is we're at very little risk from this disease. So why on earth should we take a vaccine that might do us harm? There is a small percentage chance that it could do you harm. And kind of someone like Mr Gove telling them that they absolutely have to do this. I mean, I think it could make young people just stick two fingers up, couldn't it?
I think it could. I think it could push people over the edge because they think we're trying too hard. And why do we have to try so hard if it's so brilliant? That would be their first view. And I've listened to people on the radio today saying exactly that. And what worries me as a doctor is that we have an absolutely fantastic vaccine regime in this country for children. You know, we have really good uptake across Europe. And, you know, apart from a few blips here and there with MMR, we've really convinced people that the childhood vaccine rollout is a good thing to do. And I'm a mum of a 2-year-old. I've done it. She's had every vaccine in the book. And I think that we need to actually use our skills as professionals to convince people of the safety of any vaccine that we ask them to take. The moment we start bullying them into it, which is what we are doing with language like selfish, we actually put all of that at risk, including future childhood vaccines, because people will lose trust in us.
Let me ask you, as a mother who's quite happy with MMR and all the normal vaccines that children have, and which, without any shadow of a doubt, have made a huge change in the last 100 years to infant mortality.
Yes.
No, there's no question about that, absolutely. But are you comfortable with young children getting the COVID-19 jab? Is it necessary for children to get this jab?
No, I'm not. And I've been very clear on this. So first of all, let me say that in terms of COVID, the vaccine rollout has been amazing. We've done it very, very well. And because we know that there are a group of people who are vulnerable to COVID and it can kill them, for those people, it is a no-brainer. Why would you not have the vaccine? That's number one. So if you know that you're in an at-risk group and the group is big and we know who it is, it's an absolute no-brainer. Go off, get your COVID vaccine, make yourself safe. In terms of children, we know that children do not get sick from COVID. My daughter had it when I had it. She had a fever for an hour and I wouldn't have even known if I hadn't just checked it. She was as right as rain. But we know she's got antibodies, so she definitely had it. So, you know, there are risks of the vaccine, and we're seeing in Israel and in the States where they're actually rolling this out from 12-year-olds up, that we're having myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart. We don't know what the long-term implications of that are, even if they get better. And some of them have not got better, and there is reportedly one child death from myocarditis. Why would we risk that ever as a parent when we know that COVID itself isn't going to do that damage? It isn't likely to kill our child. I just don't understand that, no.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the number of people who get a vaccine who have a side effect is still very small, isn't it?
Yes, it is very small. But when you're talking about a group of people who won't die of the disease itself, then as a doctor, we're told to do no harm. So surely the risks outweigh the benefit in that group of people, in children.
Yeah, that's a very powerful argument. And, you know, I've heard some people say, well, we need to vaccinate children to protect the adults. But I thought in civilised society it was the adults that were there to protect the children. I do worry, though, that Michael Gove could possibly extend the logic of his argument to children. And I sense, Renée, that come September, there's going to be a very major debate about whether we vaccinate school children or not.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.